Hi everyone, welcome back to Be Rich. Today being Sunday, I thought I'll take this time to talk about this thing about investing in the US. A lot of you have been asking me to tell you how to invest in the US, where to invest in the US, how do you go about it sitting in India. I want you guys to take it slow. And the reason why I want you to take it slow is a couple of days ago, it came in the news about this guy in Bangalore, 52-year-old man who is an engineer, design engineer, and he has lost 6.4 crores in the scam which he was involved in. He was scammed out of that, and my brother spoke about it in MoneyPechu channel. It's probably coming today, or it must have come yesterday, I'm not sure, but you can see what he said about it too. But I wanted to talk about that from a different perspective on how these scams work, okay, how to guard yourselves, and especially it's pertinent when you're talking about investing in the US market. First of all, the scam he got involved in was related to the US market. He was promised through this so-called company which is called International Equity Fund, IEF, that they are a US-based advisory firm registered in India as a foreign portfolio investor. Okay, that itself is important to notice, because if you are an advisory firm in the US and you're registered yourself in India as a foreign portfolio investor, you are not taking Indians' money, taking it abroad and investing it and giving them returns here in India. It's actually the other way around. The foreign portfolio investor brings funds from outside India into India. And that's why they're registered with SEBI and they are investing in the Indian market. SEBI's regulatory body is over the Indian stock market. They have no authority over any other stock market outside India. These are all basics of investing, right? So if anybody is trying to tell you something like that and you know a little bit of investing, these would all be like flags which will immediately trigger for you. Unfortunately, this man seems to have not known anything about it, and he's been completely green, as they say. And I can understand he must have been in a situation which was very desperate for him. We can all imagine and speculate this. Maybe he was losing his job. He knew his career was not going anywhere. He felt that there's immense pressure on him to provide for his family. I'm just speculating. I don't know anything about him or his situation. Or maybe it was a simple greed which led him to do this, where he was convinced, seeing all the news which is going around social media and on whatever leftover television media which is there, that there are great opportunities in the world right now, be it Bitcoin, be it whatever that in social media is being pushed, that opportunities are being missed by investors, and you should be getting on this train very fast before it disappears and you have missed an opportunity of a lifetime. So that triggers him to do whatever he did. He first lost 3 crores odd. Then he managed to convince his friends and family and borrowed another 3 crores from them, and he lost it. And those people are equally culpable to this, because if any of my friends reached out and asked me for money and they told me, dude, I'm investing it in some harebrained scheme like this, I would say, dude, I'm not interested. If I fall for it and I think I get greedy because my friend says the returns are like 700% or some crazy number, and you're going to double my money in no time and return it to me, I would have serious doubts about it. I would actually be ready to advise him, saying, whatever you're doing sounds like a scam, dude, please refrain from it. But he managed to convince his friends, because they were also equally must have suffered from greed or complete lack of knowledge and trusted this guy immensely to forego the money, and all that money is gone. Those people, after they realized they have no more avenues to take money out of him, they left him high and dry and moved on. And these kind of scams have been happening even before social media, but now they are more prevalent thanks to social media, because now it's just so much easier for a scammer to reach a much wider pool of targets than before. Before, the scamsters had to really work within an area, they had to do some research, and they had to, for every effort they put, there was a very hard little return. Now it's reached the point, because of social media, that it's very easy to put a wide net at a very low cost, and it's very easy to catch. And the scams now, that's why even in Amazon you have scams. You have scams all over websites, even in Flipkart, because they're desperate and competing with each other. They're trying to onboard as many sellers as they can. And sometimes scamsters use these platforms to get on board and exploit customers using that platform, because everyone trusts Amazon and think Amazon is just because you're there on Amazon, you're verified and checked. It's not true. Not all suppliers on Amazon are verified and checked. That's why you should use only Prime, and make sure whomever you're choosing to buy from is under Prime, is under Amazon recommended. So that way, those are the guys who have been really filtered and checked. And also you should check your return policy and refund policies before you decide to buy something. For the simple reason, it could be a scam. And there's a certain road map which they use to create these scams, which is what I wanted to talk about, because I want you to understand this, the psychology behind how it's done to you. So once you've understood it, you can protect yourself and protect other people from this kind of scam, right? It basically breaks down to 6 steps, and each one progressively, you have to pass this step for you to be pushed into the next step. So what they first do is known as the initial contact. This is the famous Nigerian, you won a lottery scam, or I need to give you some money scam. They usually send out a mail back in the heydays, or you used to get a mail. Way back in my dad's days, you'll actually get an envelope in your mailbox saying, in a printed paper, saying you have been awarded this special lottery. You just need to get in touch with this or this place, so we can tell you how we can transfer the money, wire the money to you. From that stage, nowadays, now it's initial contact is done on WhatsApp and it's done on Facebook. And you know how the algorithm works. If you are a person who consumes a lot of stock news, like how you're consuming our stock news and our channels, so the algorithm just starts pushing all stock related things to you. And it doesn't bother checking and verifying because the volume is so huge. They don't bother checking and verifying if this is a scam or if this is a legit thing that they're forwarding it to you, because the algorithm just sends it to you because they don't care. They leave it up to you as the end user to opt in or opt out. So whenever you get something, you should always be a little skeptical about it. I'm not asking you to be cynical about things, saying that everyone is out to cheat you. It's not true. Majority of the world, people are very honest, people are friendly, people do try to help each other, majority of the world. We're sold this idea thanks to media and social media that everyone is trying to scam each other. It's not true. You're not trying to scam anybody, are you? I don't think so. Majority of the viewers of my channel are not scammers, right? None of the people working for me are scammers. So I would say the scamming population in this world is very small. So don't immediately get cynical about the world. Be skeptical. Being skeptic is a good thing. This means just checking. So initial contact happens. And that's when, if you fall for that, then you get into the next phase, which is known as the grooming phase. So what happens is the initial contact, they send it to you on WhatsApp or Facebook, like what happened to this guy. And you are desperate at that moment. You're just curious, you just don't know. You don't believe it, so you want to check. So you click on it. So then maybe it could be as simple as that. So a lot of viruses land up on your machine like that, where you just get curious and click on it. So this initial contact, he passed through and he went into the grooming phase. The grooming phase, what happens is, that is when actually another person, the scammer from the scammer side, actually reaches out to you. They sit and psychologically assess you to see which way they can set you up to fail and how much you're really worth. Is it really worth putting the effort of squeezing you now? Back in the heydays, that used to be a very high bar. Not everybody will get squeezed. Nowadays, because the cost is so cheap, setting up a call center and squeezing, so everybody gets squeezed. That's why you'll get relentless calls. Once you accept a call from a scamming site, you'll get hounded day and night for some times, till you keep on blocking and saying no, till they actually start laying off. Once you open the gate, you get flooded. I'm sure a lot of you have experienced this. So that's the grooming phase. In the grooming phase, in this guy's stage, someone introduced him to stock trading and told him this is how it's going to happen. We're going to take money from you and invest it for you through our proprietary platform in the American market, and you can log in, you can access everything, and you can see in your account all the money which you transferred to us and all the profits. You'll be able to see it in real time, which is reasonable because that's how we all do. We all log on to a site. We don't realize how it is easy to create a fake site. It is. Now that with AI is there, scamming is even easier. You don't even need to know programming or creating a website. AI is there to help you. So he got pulled into this where he got groomed, right? Once he was convinced in the grooming stage, they did something to give him a bit of more flower to it. They did some training. They made him attend some training classes, some training video where some person from their side was training him how to use their website and how to transfer the money. That's when the unrealistic promises were starting to be made, where you get big returns. For every rupee, you get 700 rupees. That means 700% return, which is a phenomenal profit plan. And all of this in a very short period of time. So after 15 days of grooming and training, unrealistic promises were made, right? Then he starts transferring the first few rupees into this website, and then the escalation, the demand starts. They start demanding No, sir, you have put so much. You should need to put at least this much more. See, you're missing this opportunity. You put 10,000 rupees. I'm showing you on your website. If you log on and see, the 10,000 rupees you put has become so much, so you need to put in some more. You're missing opportunities here. I think you can definitely do some more. So the demands will start hitting you and you start feeling the greed. You put more money in. Lo and behold, after some time, you decide to withdraw some of it because maybe you need to buy an iPhone or whatever. You decide to withdraw and suddenly you're jammed up. That's when the denial starts. Then they say, no, because this is locked up, you need to put some more money to free up. Then you can withdraw like this. They'll give you some kind of convoluted thing where you'll be negotiating how to take your own money out. That's when this poor man got jammed up and decided to borrow money from his friends and his relatives. And he borrowed and he put more money into it. And that's when they start psychologically manipulating him. And that happens to everybody. We're all humans. We all get manipulated. Even I get manipulated. That's why I always try and be skeptical and on guard. Either it will be greed, like the stock market, where it's either greedy and you're buying things which are not in value, or you flip to the other side where the stock market is fearful and you start selling everything. So they'll, based on his personality and what his thing is, they'll put either fear into him saying if you don't do it, you're going to lose everything. Then he gets scared, he'll borrow and do. Or they'll tell him if he's not someone who's scared, if he's easily moved by greed, they'll tell him if you don't put, you're going to miss another 1 crore profit. So that's the way they'll psychologically manipulate him. Lo and behold, once they've realized they can't squeeze any more out of him, they locked him out of the website and they stopped all communications and they disappeared. That's when he realized this is not a SEBI registered site. They're not saying anybody, nobody knows about them. And when they went to the police said, why did you do this? You should first. And this day and age, like Anand said in his video, the police themselves find it very difficult to trace these things down because they don't have the resources. And the government right now itself hasn't spent money to build these resources for the police, for them to do this kind of cyber checking. So it's very difficult for them to do this. They gave advice like you should go and check if there's a physical company. Being in today's commerce, e-world and e-commerce, we cannot physically go verify every single shop and site to see if it's there. I understand that. The police are saying what we should do, but in reality, we and you know that every single site which we are interacting with, we do not know if the actual address is someone is sitting there when you're ordering a product to their website. We look at for all the typical things. We go to review sites and see if anyone else has bought material from this site and what are their reviews about it, what are they saying, and then we try to take an educated guess. Have they got all the certificates, from trusted pilot, and hope that whatever this is a good site, and try and order maybe cash on delivery and hope. But there is also scam and cash on delivery nowadays. It lands on Blue Dart. Blue Dart will immediately say you cannot unpack unless you pay. And as soon as you pay to Blue Dart, he gives you the parcel and you unpack. And if it's not your product inside, Blue Dart will say, boss, it's not my fault. I was asked to bring one box from here to there and collect money from you. And that's my job. It ends at that. If you have a problem, please take it up with the guy. So even there is a scam. So you really cannot physically verify these things. And another thing which was given advice is you should go check on SEBI's website. And people who have gone to government websites know how difficult it is to ascertain information. Not all of us have a team of people to tell us and dig through government websites to find out. If you have done any kind of income tax filing, you have done any kind of, just to find out what the FIA, DIAs have sold for the day. If you go to the NSDL website or you go to CDSL website or you go to National Stock Exchange site, to get that information itself can be proved to be very difficult. So to find out if someone is SEBI registered is also very difficult. It's not as easy as 1, 2, 3. So this is the main reason I wanted to get this out there. Before I discuss, how I am looking at American markets, what sites I am using, I want you guys to learn to do due diligence. No matter whom the information comes from, even if it comes from me or my brother or anybody else, I want you to become in the habit of slowing down, and doing due diligence and checking things twice. And if you're not able to check something and verify something, please don't do it. I'm not saying it's a scam. I'm not saying it is something wrong. Take the time to figure it out and check and verify. If you're not able to, then don't do it. Why take the risk? If this man had spent a little bit of time, he would have saved himself a lot of money, a lot of heartache, and would have avoided embarrassing himself like this. I can't imagine the emotional turmoil he's going through right now, because all of us have gone through some form of a scam. It might just be 1,000 rupees here or 100 rupees there. We've been scammed, and you know how terrible it feels. So you can't imagine how this man must be feeling when he is down by 6.2 crores and half of that money is from his friends and family, and there's no way he can repay them. So, and he's 52 years old, and everybody else is using him as an example, as a to learn a lesson from. I definitely don't want any of you to go through this or become a person who becomes an example for all of us to go, oh my God, we should do this. I'd rather that none of us go through this. So it is important to understand how this works, from the initial contact to the grooming, the unrealistic promise, and then the demand escalation. So you must realize you still haven't lost money in the initial contact. You still haven't lost money in the grooming. You still haven't lost money with unrealistic promises. Till then, you can still pull out without losing anything. When you start losing capital is when the escalation and the demand starts. There you should know when to walk away. So this is what I wanted to share with you guys today. Right? Next video, next week, Monday, Tuesday or sometime, I will definitely talk about a video on how to invest in the American capital market. I'll show you the website which I'm using personally, and I'll tell you other sites which I've heard about, I've not used, and I'll show you how I set up my account and how I send money and how I can invest and how I can check. I'll try to show you this online on a simple video, and then you can try and figure it out at your end. But before all that, I want you to understand how easily you can get conned into these things. And this is one of the reasons I avoid the grey market, and I don't buy stocks in the grey market. And I don't advise any of you to buy in the grey market or sell in the grey market either, because there's no one watching it. No one even knows what's happening there. And this day and age, you cannot avoid online transactions. You cannot say, I will only use physical transaction. I will only give money. I will not use GPay. We don't have the luxury of doing that anymore. We don't have the luxury of not giving our Aadhaar number anymore. So it's on you. The onus is on you to be careful, because it is a terrible thing to go through it and then trying to figure out how to fix it after it's done. So be careful when you're out there. Be skeptical. I'm not asking you to be cynical. You don't have to assume that everyone is trying to cheat you. Not everyone is trying to cheat you. Like I said at the beginning of the video, I'm sure most of my viewers are not scammers or trying to think of illicit ideas how to rip each other off. I think most of my viewers are very genuine and honest people trying to make an honest living and just trying to figure out how to get ahead in life. I do believe that very honestly. So anyway, I do wish you a happy Sunday evening. I know this wasn't really on what we expected to discuss today. Last week, the FIIs were on a seesaw. We saw some days they bought, some days they sold heavily. Friday ended on a day where they really bought into the market. Initially, they were dumping stocks in the market and the market went really down. And I did speak in our group that you could have seen Manappuram going really down very fast. And suddenly it took a U-turn and suddenly they started buying in again very strongly in the Indian market. And they actually bought 2,000 crores plus into the Indian market. And most of the shares rebounded and went back up, not from the point where they opened, they went up 2-3%. So Manappuram that day from its lowest went back up. By the time it closed, was almost up 6.8%. And for a small investor like us, seeing 100 rupees suddenly becoming 90 rupees and then going to 120 rupees, that kind of a seesaw can send you on an emotional roller coaster. We might have this coming week like that too, or it might be a very quiet week since we're almost just a few more days away from Christmas. So wait and watch. That said, things are happening in US, things are happening in Middle East and Europe. And if something critical does happen, FIs are known in history to break out and come back into the market from their holidays and buy or sell in the market based on global events. So that may also happen. So keep an eye on these things, keep your chin up as they say, and keep investing in small amounts like I said. We have our list of stocks which we look at, which is like Manappuram, Natco, Dr. Reddy, Tata Motors, IndusInd Bank, ITC, you guys know this. I mean, I don't need to send in every single video, say A, B, C, D, E, F, G and go the entire alphabet. It'll get very boring for me and you to watch me read out the alphabet every video. But I pretty much know you know what we're talking about. So when you see these opportunities, stay in your tiffin coffee ranges as always, because we are not been in a situation where we can go into lunch and dinner money. And the reason why I say tiffin coffee is good enough is the previous few videos back which I spoke about, if I had stuck into doing 2,000 rupees, 40,000 rupees a month, which I could have done front loading, I told you about that, I would have been in a pretty good position. Just buying companies. I've showed you even with the Tata example. My brother said in the Tamil video, the Tata example is pretty much like buying the Nifty 50, where we're just avoiding the banks. So if you avoid financial sector, your Tata stocks, which I spoke about, touches all other stocks, sectors in Indian market except the financial sector. So he says it's like good as buying the Nifty 50. You can do that too. I was arguing with him that I'd rather buy Tata stocks than the Nifty 50. We had our differences of opinion on that. If you want to watch that, do go catch that video. It's in Tamil though. If you understand Tamil, you can watch that video where our opinions diverged and where we converged. So keep that ahead in the week ahead. So Nothing more other than that. Have a wonderful week, and I'll see you again on Monday with some more company news, stock news, and dive into something more interesting. Thank you for watching the video. Wish you a wonderful week ahead. Bye.
Hey guys, that my uncles Vinod Srinivasan, Anand Srinivasan and I have rolled out our Substack, which is basically a blog/newsletter where we're going to post our original research onto it, and we've analyzed macroeconomic trends. And a lot of you know my uncle Anand Srinivasan and I regularly write for The Hindu, and these articles are also going to be made available for you in the Substack. The link is moatinvesting.substack.com. You'll find it in the description and in the video right now. We hope you go check it out. We've put a lot of time and effort into it. And please give us comments and feedback on what you read. Thank you.